energy. Okay. Um, can we move forward? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, I want you to sit on something, whether it's a block, whether it's a blanket. I don't really care if you're at home. You might sit on a pillow. That works too. The first thing we're going to do is just soften our gaze and close our eyes. So once you fall into this state, if you notice that you need to remove flesh from underneath your sit bones, that both butt cheeks are firmly rooted underneath you, if you want to reposition your hands so it feels like your arms are just hanging from the shoulders, and maybe that it feels like the heart stays open, the shoulder blades slide down the back. If you want to open and close your mouth a few times because maybe there's tension there. If you want to shimmy a little bit in the shoulders or maybe drop an ear to one shoulder and then the other, just take a moment to settle in and take a moment to just notice what you notice. Our theme today was very aptly, well, I don't know if it was aptly, but it was selected by my nephew. I asked him what I should theme on. He's like, silence. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, no, ninjas. Okay. I was like, well, ninjas are silent. And he's like, oh. And so we're going to focus a little bit on silence. We're going to focus a little bit on that stealthy quality that is required in order to be very exact, precise within our lives. And we're going to just see how us taking on more than we need to kind of manifest in certain places. For me, it comes into my shoulders, my neck. Sometimes it comes into the gut. And so we're going to just see what that feels like as we go through the next hour or so together. So the first thing I want you to do is just take a couple of breaths here. And as you breathe, where does the breath first enter the body? And that doesn't necessarily need to be your nose, but where do you first register it? Do you notice it in the chest? Is it in the ribs? Is it in your abdomen? Do you notice it more in the front of the body, the back of your body, the left or right side of your body? And as we take this next series of breaths, and as you continue to just notice the sensations in the body, we're allowing our mind to soften. We're allowing it to quiet. We're allowing it to settle into this present moment. As you're ready, the hands will simply come to the right and to the left, maybe touching the floor. On your next in-breath, go ahead and lift just your right arm up, palm faces down, and we'll have it parallel to the floor. And then from here, turn the back of your head towards your right hand. So that means your face is probably going to turn to the left. And keep reaching out through your right arm and just notice what you notice across the neck. Next inhalation, the head comes back through center. Externally rotate your arm so the palm now faces the sky. And then again, turn the back of your head towards the right. And again, just notice what you notice as you reach out through your pinky finger. Next inhale, head comes back through center. Turn your palm to face the floor again. Now flex through your wrist so the fingers point up. And now turn your gaze again to the left. Back of the head goes to the right. And just notice what you notice happening across the palm, the shoulder blade, your breath. Inhale, come back through center. Flip the palm. So now you've externally rotated the hand. And again, turn your gaze towards the left, back of the head towards the right. And just notice what you notice here. Nice job. Next in-breath, come back through center. Extend out through the fingers and then inhale the arms straight up and overhead. Now at this point, we're going to plant our left hand on the floor firmly. Reach up and over to the left, and you can take some little wrist circles here like a flamenco dancer and just circling the wrist one way. If you want to walk that left hand a little further out, by all means do that. Switch the direction of your circles if you haven't already, and just pay attention to what's happening on your right side body. Nice work. Next in-breath, come back up through vertical. As you exhale, right hand comes towards your left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale, lift up. Then exhale, gentle twist towards your left. So again, back of your head comes towards your right shoulder. Gaze might go towards the back left area of your space. Nice work. Next in-breath, gently unwind, come through center. Both hands touch the floor. And just notice if you notice anything between the sides. And then as you're ready, we'll try the other side. So left hand parallel to the floor. As you exhale, back of the head comes to the left. And you just pause and you breathe and you reach out through your fingers. Inhale, head comes back through center. Externally rotate the arm, palm faces up. And again, turn and look towards the right, back of the head towards the left. reach out through your pinky finger. Inhale, come back through center. Turn the palm to face the floor, flex through the wrist, and again, turn the back of the head towards the left and look towards the right. Notice what you notice on this side, how much you can extend out through the fingers as you reach out through the heel of the hand. Inhale, come back through center. Externally rotate the palm. So other way, Erica. There we go. And then turn the back of the head towards the left, reach out through the right, and you just pause and you breathe and you pause and you breathe. Fantastic. Come back through center. Extend out through the palm and then inhale, arms straight up. As you exhale, right hand walks a little bit to the right, happy little side bend over to the right. And we can take our little wrist circles again with that left arm. If you need to walk your right hand further out, by all means, please feel free to do that. After you've gone one direction, go the other direction with those wrist circles and just observe what's happening on the whole left side body. Nice work. Next in breath, come back up through center. As you exhale, left hand comes to right knee, right hand comes slightly back behind you. Inhale, lift up through your spine and exhale, back of the head towards your left shoulder, front of the face towards your right shoulder, and just take a couple of breaths here, noticing that you can root down a little bit more into your left hip, left sit bone, and then that impacts what rotation you're feeling on the rib cage. Next in breath. Come back through center, let both arms touch the floor and just observe. Notice what you notice between the sides. Fantastic. If your eyes are closed, you might keep them closed or you might need to open them in order to switch the cross of your ankle. Great. And then we'll go ahead and do a couple more arm things. So again, starting with the right hand, right arm parallel to the floor. This time we're going to turn our palm forward, and I want you to actively press out through your hand like you're pressing into, I don't know, a wall. And then again, take the back of the head towards the right hand. And notice what you notice here as you reach out through your pinky finger and actively flare through your 5 fingers on the right hand. Inhale, come back through center. Internally rotate the hand this time. And again, you're pushing into a wall behind you. Turn the back of your head towards the right and notice what you notice across maybe the front of the right arm as you look towards the left. All right, inhale, come back through center. Keep the hand as it is. Slide the arm back behind you. And maybe the hand will touch somewhere between your shoulder blades up close towards your head. And then some of you will stay right there. Some of you are going to drop your chin to your chest. As you do that, you're going to just sort of squeeze the right shoulder blade onto your back body. And then you'll inhale, you'll come up. Go ahead and reach the right arm out, lower the right arm down, and just notice if you notice anything between the sides. And we'll try that on the other side. Left hand comes out parallel to the floor. Turn the palm to face front. And again, as though you're pressing against something, turn the back of the head to the left. And notice what you notice across the front of the neck, the back of the left shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Internally rotate the arm. And then again, turn the back of the head towards the left. Actively press into that left hand and notice what you feel happening again on the left shoulder. Come back through center. Go ahead and bend the elbow, draw the elbow back behind you, and then just take a moment to pause. Notice what this feels like. Maybe you drop your chin to your chest and then engage the left shoulder blade so that you can open across the front of the left chest. Nice job. Go ahead and inhale, come back through center, open the arm out, and then release the arm down. Let's move on. Now this time we're going to reach both arms out parallel to the floor. Externally rotate, so as though the backs of your shoulder blades are flipping the palms up, and then reach your arms up to a V shape. As you reach up, notice that you can root down into your sit bones and extend up through the arms. Now some of you will stay here, some of you will bring your arms a little closer together. Fantastic. Again, draw your front ribs in, root down through your sit bones, bend just your left elbow, grab your left elbow with your right hand. Press your left elbow to the left and draw it into the right. Now from here, we want to draw our front ribs into our back body. Draw your skull straight back into the crease of your left arm. And then some of you will stay here. Some of you will take your gaze and look towards your left. And you just notice, yeah, right, that's crazy. And you just keep rooting down into both sit bones. And you breathe and you pause and you breathe and you pause. And you draw those front ribs in because mine love to flare out if I don't pay attention to them. All right, inhale, come back through center. This time we're going to stay here with our left hand, reach up through the right. Palm comes forward, internally rotate the arm, and then swim it back behind you. Oh, Sandy, I forgot, damn it. Okay, at this point, this is one of those where you'll maybe interlace your hands, or if that's not gonna happen, we do have our strap. Strap goes around our neck, and you can hold on to the strap. Um, and I told Sandy I would remember that, and I completely forgot. I'm so sorry, Sandy. Um, but that's an option. We'll just pause here and we'll breathe. And if you are wherever you are, I want you to see if you can pull front ribs in, lengthen up through the spine, and then notice if you can draw the right shoulder blade back onto the back body. Great. Very gently, if you're releasing or holding the hands, reach out through the right arm, reach up through the left, and then go ahead and lower both arms down. Notice what you notice between the sides. If you need to circle the head, great, or rather shake the head, great. If you want to drop the neck, or drop the chin rather well, body parts, or lift the chin, great. And we'll come to center. And then if you are going to use a strap, draw it to the other shoulder, and then we'll start again. Great. From here again, palms out, externally rotate the arms, and then extend the arms up and overhead. From here, we'll just stay in that V shape for just a moment. And I want you to feel the energy that's required to keep your arms in this orientation. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will draw your arms closer towards your head, bend your right elbow, grab your right elbow with your left hand. And again, you might just stay here. We draw our front ribs back. We draw our skull back so our head is centered over the center of our pelvis. And then maybe you stay here. Maybe we look over towards our right shoulder. And as we keep drawing our head back, we notice that there's this tendency, especially if we're a little hypermobile, where we have to draw the front ribs in and back. And then it requires a little bit of abdominal engagement. And then you feel something happening on your back. Just kind of crazy and fun all at the same time. All right, let's go ahead and draw our head back to center. Lift up through your left arm. The left arm comes out to the left. Internally rotate the left arm and swim that arm back behind you. Now, maybe you clasp hands. Maybe you just hold on to that strap. And if you're holding to the strap, you're actively pulling it apart. And if you're holding onto your fingers, I mean, technically you're pulling apart, but we'll see there. And then again, draw the front ribs back, head straight over the head, and then notice if there's any unnecessary tension here. Great, we've just got 2 more breaths. And then are we breathing? Gently release the left arm. Left arm reaches up. Right arm reaches up. Okay, so this is not the fun one. We're going to stay here for a full minute. If you want to soften the gaze or close the eyes, that's fantastic. But we're just going to notice our arms are going to get very tired. Your right, my left, is going to get very tired very quickly because that's the one that's been up a little bit longer. And so you're just going to notice what you notice. In Kundalini, you do this quite often. One of the teachers I take with, she makes us do breath of fire here while we're doing this. And it's annoying, and I feel so much better after. So if you're familiar with breath of fire and you wish to do it, by all means, go ahead. If you're like, no, Jessica, I'm not doing that, then don't. And if you don't know what breath of fire it is, it's just a contraction of the belly back. And we've just got about another 30 seconds to go. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. And you're noticing what you notice as we keep our arms up, as we keep our spine long. And as the tension and the heat begin to build in our arms and the fatigue begins to build in the arms, just notice your reaction to it. Where can we soften? Where can we become a little bit more silent in terms of the suffering, as Pema Chodron might say, that we inflict whenever there is something that's invoking a bit of discomfort? At the end of your next exhalation, palms will face away from each other, and then slowly, with resistance, lower your arms to the floor. When your arms finally touch, just take a moment to soften and just notice if you notice anything. What is the energy that's moving through the body? What do you feel in the shoulders? What do you feel in the back body? Okay, if you have the strap, go ahead and remove that for the time being. Last thing on our knee or sitting, and then we'll move on. I want you to protract and retract the shoulders. So your shoulder blades can come forward and your shoulder blades can come back. And you'll just do about 4 of those, and you'll just notice what that feels like as the shoulder blades come forward and the shoulder blades go back. Great. After you've done your 4, you might go up and down as well and just notice what that feels like. Great. And after you've done 4 of those, we're going to make our way to everybody's least favorite pose, toe squat. So at that point, I would encourage you to plant a blanket underneath your knees if your knees are sensitive. You can also put a block underneath your heels if your backs of the knees are sensitive. It just depends on what's going on for you. And then we're going to curl all 10 toes under and sit tall. Now, once we find ourselves in toe squat, the first thing I want you to pay attention to is your sit bones and see if you can feel your sit bones on your heels. And then notice if you can draw your front ribs back and your head over your shoulders and then over the hips. From here, we'll bring our arms forward like happy little robots. And our impetus is to try to keep our front ribs back as we reach our arms forward. And you inhale here, and then you exhale, draw the front ribs back, squeeze the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Inhale, come forward. We'll just do 2 more of those. And it's really when we go forward that we have to think of continuing to draw the front ribs back because it seems counterintuitive for some odd reason. Okay, this is our last one. Inhale, coming forward. And then exhale, squeezing back. Great. Keep them here. Inhale, open the arms out, squeeze the shoulder blades on the back. Yeah, and if at any point in time that comes too much, you can stand up on the shins or just release the toes. Awesome. And then we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, squeeze the shoulders. Exhale, come in. Inhale, open. And exhale in. Last one. Inhale, open. And exhale in. Fantastic. Let's come forward, hands and knees, pitter patter the tops of your toes. Have a happy little temper tantrum if you'd like. Take a counter stretch if you'd like. And then when you are ready, you're going to make your way to stand. I'll have you stand at the back of your mat. Before you stand up though, yeah. Let's go ahead and stand at the top of our mat. People at home, please plant your blocks towards the upper outer corners of your mat and then stand at the top of your mat. People in person, I got you. You're probably pretty flexible, so you don't need 2 of them. Okay. And then if you'd like, you might plant a blanket in the middle of your space just as an option, but we're not going to need that for a little bit. Cool. All right, so once we are finally standing at the back of our space, I want you to just notice what it feels like to have feet hip distance apart. Maybe soften the gaze and close the eyes and notice where your feet are. Is your weight a little bit further forward? Is your weight a little further back? Are you more to the right? Are you more to the left? Is there any movement or are you completely still? Does not matter, you're just checking in with you. And then once you feel like you found your center, you might bring a slight bend into your knees if you're hypermobile, and then allow your palms to face forward. Great. This is going to be our standing base, and then we'll build on. Go ahead and bend your elbows so they're little robots. And we're going to just do that thing we did again. So inhale, arms come forward, ribs come back. Exhale, squeeze the elbows, squeeze the shoulders. 2 more times. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, come back. Last time. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back. Stay here. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, come in. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, come in. And we really want to hug the shoulder blades on the back body. Yep. Fantastic. This next time, inhale, arms go forward. Exhale, squeeze back. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, squeeze in. 2 sets just like that, or rather 2 more. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, squeezing back. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, come in. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale. And exhale. All right. Open them one more time. This time we're going to interlace our hands at our back. And I want you to see if you can keep that shoulder opening that you felt here, that broadness across the chest, as you lower the arms and then interlace the fingers. Now, if the heels of your hands are touching, that makes it more challenging, but I want you to squeeze the shoulder blades onto your back and then lift the sternum. Slight bend in the knees if you need it, and maybe chest lifts. Now, pulling the front ribs into your back body, you're going to fold forward at your hips, forward fold. If you start getting there and you're like, wow, my knees need to bend, bend your knees. If you start getting there, you're like, yeah, my legs want to be straight, straighten your legs. Now, what we're going to do is when you're upside down, again, you're hugging the shoulder blades together on your back body. You're letting your head be super duper heavy. And then the closer your hands are to your butt, well, the further your hands are over your head, rather, the more intense the stretch will be. So you check that. And then notice if your heels of your hands are touching or not, because the closer they are together, the more intense the stretch will be. Fantastic. When you're done, hands will come back to your butt. They'll slide down your legs and they'll come to the floor. Take a moment once your hands are on the floor to just notice what it feels like to be in this shape. Maybe you gently shake your head no. Maybe you gently bob your head yes. Fantastic. Now let's go ahead and release from there. Inhale, slide your fingers up your shins and make your spine completely parallel to the floor. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will notice that your hands can actually touch the floor in front of you without compromising the straightness of your back. If you're like, yeah, my hands are not going to get there, no worries. You bring your hands to your hips. From there, we're all going to reach our sternum forward, the center of our head forward, and our pubic bone back. And then like happy little modern dancers, because ballet dancers don't do this position, you're going to bend your knees. I mean, don't. And then you're going to straighten your legs. And you're going to do 4 of these. So our spine is staying in this flexed position. And we're just bending and straightening the legs. And maybe you notice that when you bend your knees, maybe your fingers can touch and maybe they don't. But we're just focusing on the legs right now as you breathe. Great. All right, the next time your knees are bent, you're going to stay there. If you can, lightly touch your fingers to the floor. Next in-breath, sweep your hands back. As you exhale, hug the shoulder blades together on your back, and then inhale, bring your spine up. Haha, I tricked you into chair. Now from here, we're going to inhale, sweep your arms forward. So we're going to still sit low in our butt. Sit low in your seat. And on your next exhale, you're going to sweep your left arm back, squeeze your left shoulder blade a lot as you reach forward through your right arm. And then inhale, the arm comes forward. And then the same thing on the other side. Exhale, squeeze the back of your right shoulder blade. Great. Inhale, come forward. One more time each side. And you're just really engaging the back of the shoulder blade to get that to happen. Great. Inhale, come forward. And then exhale, squeeze, come back. And inhale, come forward. Fantastic. Inhale, sit a little lower. On your next exhale, start to push through your legs. As you inhale, you'll reach up, you'll stand up. You might even look up. Notice the length in the back of the body, the front of the body, and as you exhale, palms turn away and with resistance, lower down. Soften the gaze, close the eyes. Notice what you notice in the shoulders. Notice what you notice in the legs. All right, let's move on. So, let's try this one this time. Inhale, let's reach our arms out. Turn our arms forward and reach the palms up and overhead. Now this time we're going to cactus the elbows. Yep. And then inhale, reach them up. And 2 more just like that. Drawing front ribs in, squeezing shoulder blades on back body. Last time. Awesome sauce. Next time as we bend the elbows, we're going to stay here and inhale, reach the arms down. Fantastic. Keeping the broadness across the chest, bring your hands behind you. Take the awkward opposite. So for me, I feel like it's my left thumb on top. And then again, we want to think of drawing the collarbones wide, the shoulder blades together. Draw the front ribs in, sternum lifts up. And then when you're ready, maybe you hinge with legs straight. Maybe you hinge with knees bent. Does not really matter. Just matters what feels good to you. And then again, if your heels of your hands are touching, that's one sensation. If they're further away, that's a different. But we're focused on what's happening in the back of the body, shoulder blades coming together, breathing into whatever experience we're having. This time, some of you may slowly, and I mean super duper slowly, shake your head no. And just notice what that feels like. All right, when we're done with that, let's come to stillness, come to center, hands come to your butt, slide them down your legs and to the floor. And then once again, let's come inhale, halfway lift. This time we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. And as we're here, if your hands are on your shins, really actively push the tips of your fingertips or maybe your whole palm into the front of your shin bone. And then actively push your shin bone back. With that connection, see if you can then send your pubic bone back, the center of your sternum forward, the center of your crown forward. And we'll just take a couple more breaths here, noticing that you can now engage maybe the backs of the legs as well, just a bit, as you root from your sit bone to your heels and find that length in the back of the legs. Fantastic. When you're ready, hands will either come to your hips or you'll maybe reach your fingertips down to the floor. We're going to take those little plies again. Now you've just got 4 of them, so you bend your knees and then you straighten your legs. And maybe you'll notice this time, since we're a little bit more warm and familiar with what's going on, maybe the knees bend a little bit more. Maybe they don't. Ideally, though, we're trying to keep the spine as straight as possible. There we go. Fantastic. The next time you bend your knees, we'll stay there. Inhale, sweep your hands back. Exhale, hug the shoulder blades together on your back body. And inhale, chest comes up as your arms reach forward, Utkatasana chair pose. Now, same thing we did on the other side. So inhale, find length. As you exhale, this time the right arm sweeps back, squeezing the shoulder blade on the back body. And then inhale, arm comes forward. And then exhale, left arm squeezes onto the back body. Inhale, comes forward. Exhale, right arm. Great. Inhale, come forward. And then exhale, left arm. Great. Inhale, come forward. As you exhale, sit a little lower. Next in-breath, stand up. Reach up. Maybe you look up. Exhale, turn the palms away, and with resistance, lower down. Take a moment. Just notice what you notice. All right, let's move on. So this time we're hover palms forward, reaching from your pinky fingers all the way up and overhead. Once you're at the top, see if you can root down through your hips, and then exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Once we find ourselves down here, you're going to crawl yourself forward into a downward facing dog where you're just on your fingertips. So it's a shallow down dog. So you'll notice that you're a lot further back than one might think. So we're on the tips of our fingertips. More of our weight is coming into our legs. And you just notice how this is challenging in a whole new way. On your next exhale, step your right foot towards your face and put it between your hands. Nice job. If we have to take multiple steps, great. If we take one step, that's fantastic. Now at this point, our hands might decide to come to our blocks. And if our hands are on our blocks, fantastic. We're going to reach back through our left heel. We're going to drive the center of our right heel down from our right butt cheek. And then see if you can reach your heart and sternum forward. Great. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and lower our back knee down, maybe to a blanket, maybe to the mat, no worries. And then from here, we'll bring our spine up to vertical. Now, some of you will simply stay here and maybe gently press onto the top of your right thigh and just stay here. Some of you will release your arms down, and then we'll inhale and reach our arms up. And we'll just take a moment to pause here. So as we're reaching up through our hands, we're pushing down through the right foot, we're pushing down through the left knee. On your next exhale, cactus the elbows. And then inhale, come back up, and you've got 3 of these. And you're just noticing what's happening on the front of your left thigh, what's happening on our shoulder blades as they're moving along our back and our rib cage. Great. Last one. Inhale, come up. And exhale, cactus. All right. So this time as you come up, you're going to just take a couple of breaths here. You're going to see if you can surrender a little bit more weight to the floor. If you can draw the front ribs up, the front ribs up, front ribs back. And then on next exhale, hands come through heart center. Draw your belly in, rotate towards the right, and maybe draw your left elbow outside of your right knee. Now, if you're making that connection, we want to press our left elbow into our right knee into our elbow. Push down into the center of your right heel like dear life, and then maybe push into your big toe on the left foot. With all of that, you keep scooping your right low belly. Maybe you draw your left outer hip back, and you just notice the rotation happening in the spine. Nice work. With control, you'll inhale and unwind. Fingers come to the floor or blocks, and then shift your weight back to straighten your front leg long. Once the front leg comes long, you're like, yeah, Jessica, I'm going to slide that forward. And if that's you, by all means, slide that forward. And from here, we want to see if we can mimic that flat back that we had a couple of minutes ago. So if you need to bring the floor closer to you, happy to help with the use of blocks. And then some of you will stay right here. Some of you might play with externally rotating that right leg. And if you do that and your hamstrings are suddenly like, wow, that's a fun shape, you pause and you breathe. And we keep drawing all 5 toes back towards our knee. Yep. Next in breath, go ahead and come back through center. As gracefully as you can do this, you're going to slide your right knee back to meet your left. Yeah, that was fun. And then bring your hands to the mat or the floor, and then drop your belly and drop your head and lift your sit bones. And we're non-California cows, so we're not happy. We're sad, and your head is dropped and your belly's dropped and your sit bones broaden and lift. And as you're in this shape, I want you to just notice what's happening to your shoulder blades here. Some of you will stay exactly as you are. Some of you might want to play with externally rotating the shoulder blades. So the eyes of the elbows may come forward and then they may come back. And you'll see it happening, yep, in the elbows, like you're opening a jar for some reason. You're just twisting them a couple of times. And as you're doing that, you're noticing what's happening in your shoulder joints. I know for me, I can sometimes hear snap, crackles, and pops, and that's entertaining. All right, and then let's go ahead and come to stillness if you're in that movement. On your next exhale, start to scoop your pubic bone up, your low belly up, your front ribs up, your middle ribs up, your upper ribs up until you round into your spine and your head drops. Fantastic. When you're ready, you're going to inhale and lift your sit bones and then drop your belly and then drop your front ribs and then your middle ribs and then your upper ribs and then broaden your collarbones and lift your head. Great, and you've got two more of those. We're starting from the base and rippling up through the spine as you roll into your cat. And then you're starting from the pelvis as you extend the spine and ripple forward into your cow. Great. One more on your own and just notice what that feels like. Notice it for me, there's like an asymmetry between the sides. One side of the organs want to work a little better, or a little harder rather, I should say, than the others. All right, after you've done 3 of those and you're like, yeah, Jessica, I'm done, you're gonna come to a neutral spine and then press yourself back to a downward facing dog. Now do your normal downward facing dog, so maybe both palms are firmly rooted on the floor. And then notice what you notice happening on the inner edges of your ankles. Do you see wrinkles on the inner edges of your ankles? Or are you able to adjust the feet so that the wrinkles sort of go away? So it depends on how you are, and I might just be super mobile. It's one of those cues I've gotten from teachers before. I have to externally rotate the top of my hip and internally rotate the bottom of my calf a little bit, and then it gives me flatness where the wrinkles go away. Yeah, I know. It's one of those fun, crazy things. You spend a lot of time listening to different teachers. They're like, yeah, do this. All right. On your next in breath, see if you can find more length. And then as you exhale, we're going to step our left foot between our hands. At that point, maybe our hands come to our blocks. Maybe we just take a couple of breaths with our hands on the floor. But wherever we are, we want to see if we can find length. So find length across your whole front body, your whole long front body, all the way from your right toes, through the knee, through the hip, through the ribs, through the chest, through the face. There we go. And then we're pressing down actively through the center of that left heel. Great. When you're ready, we're going to soften the back knee down to the floor or a blanket. And then from here, push into the center of the left heel to come up to vertical. Again, option to keep our hands on the center of that left thigh and just stay here. We're looking for a stretch across the belly of, we need the AC. Okay. Center of the left thigh, and you are happy to stay here. Otherwise, arms are going to relax, and then you'll turn the palms to face up and overhead and reach both arms up and overhead. And then as we did before, you'll exhale, cactus. The elbows squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back body, and inhale, arms come up. Now, if you're pretty mobile here, I want you to stay within your active range, meaning you're not going necessarily to your end range of motion, but what you can control. There we go. I think this is maybe number 3. Okay, let's do one more because I think we did a total of 4 on the other side. Exhale, right? The next time your arms are up and overhead, we're going to stay there. As you are here, really push into the front foot. See if you can reach up through your fingers and draw the front ribs back and notice what happens across the collarbones. On your next exhale, hands come through heart center. Really push the palms into each other. Scoop the low belly and we'll start to rotate to our left. Maybe right elbow touches outside of left knee. If contact is made, you press the elbow into the knee into the elbow, press into the center of your left big toe, left heel. Scoop the left low belly and keep pressing into your right big toe. Maybe we draw the outer right hip back just a little bit as we breathe into our ribs. Broaden across your collarbones as best as you can. Some of us, I feel like that means we have to lean back, which is ironic, but that helps. All right, on your next in-breath, we'll gently unwind. Hands come to floor or blocks. Shift your weight back, straighten your front leg long, maybe slide the foot forward and flex the foot. or rather, I guess I should say dorsiflex the foot. And then, didn't mention it on the first side, but we're going to root down into our left heel, root down into our right knee, draw those points together as we reach our pubic bone back on our sternum forward. Now, if you're happy to stay here, by all means, stay here. If you want to externally rotate that left leg and notice how your other hamstrings feel when you change the stretch, by all means, do that. And you just pause and you breathe and you notice what you notice. Andy, reach your sternum forward a little bit more for me, please. There we go. And then on your next in-breath, let's go ahead and return the foot to neutral. If it's not, slide that foot back until your knees meet. Bring your hands back to your floor. And then again, non-California cows. Just feel your sad cows. We're not going to stay here for long. You'll exhale, scoop the belly, find your cat pose. And then inhale, ripple again from the pelvis into your cow pose. And you've got 2 more of those just on your own. We're just starting from the pelvis, starting from the root, finding the foundation. The interesting thing is when we are silent, it does come from the base. It comes from a sense of groundedness that gives us the opportunity to do a bunch of different things. All right. On your next in-breath, let's go to come to a neutral spine. Root down into your right hand and reach your left arm up towards the sky for a happy little twist. You might choose to stay here, really just push down into your right hand, reach up through your left. As you exhale, we might thread the arm underneath you to the right, drawing the left shoulder, left ear towards the mat, maybe replacing that right palm. So it feels like you can press the back of your left arm into the mat, back of left shoulder, full right palm. And then just notice where the rotation is happening here in the vertebra. What is happening on the back of the left shoulder? Where is the breath in the body? Nice work. As you're ready, we'll root down through that right hand again. Inhale, the left arm comes back towards the sky. Take a moment to pause, take a moment to breathe, and then lower the hand to the mat. We'll go ahead and try all that on the other side. So root down through the left arm, right arm reaches up. Take a breath cycle here, really pushing all 5 fingers of that left hand down. And then when you're ready, you'll thread the arm underneath you towards the left. Maybe replant your left hand. And again, just notice what is happening in your body. I think being silent in some respects can be quite challenging in a society that constantly challenges us to say something, you know. But sometimes the people that are the most insightful in our lives are the ones that rarely say anything. And then when they do, you're like, wow, I should listen to that. All right, when we're ready, let's root down through that left hand. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Take a breath cycle here. And then exhale, lower down. Fantastic. Curl the toes under and lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog, 3 breaths. If you have that blanket, by all means, please discard it at this point. Great. And just check in and notice what you notice. And then let's move on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Now for today, I want you to externally rotate that top leg. Keep the leg straight and do your best version of a dancer or figure skater, trying to make it look really super pretty, as big and as flaring as you want. Yeah, that's nice. On your next exhale, draw the knee to the nose. Gently step that foot between your hands. Once you've rooted that foot down, we're going to spin the back foot down for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So the left foot comes slightly to the left and slightly forward. You'll inhale and reach your heart forward. As you exhale, hands come back alongside your hips. Push through the feet and inhale, come up to vertical. Fantastic. Once we're there, we'll externally rotate the arms and then reach the arms out and up and overhead. Fantastic. So now we're in Warrior 1. Again, we want to think of what's happening in our front ribs. We want to reach out through our pinky fingers and notice what's happening in the upper chest. If you are happy to stay here, happy to stay here. Otherwise, you're going to turn your palms away from you. Arms will reach out, and then we'll bring our hands back behind us and interlace our fingers. Now, as long as you've got some width between your feet right to left, this shouldn't be an issue. If you're more on a tightrope, this is not going to be fun. So you might want to adjust that. Then we'll externally rotate our upper arm bones, lift our chest. As you exhale, you're going to scoop the belly, and maybe your head is going to come towards the inside edge of your front thigh. Maybe it comes towards your inner ankle. Maybe you're one of those random people who have a lot of mobility and your head comes all the way to the floor. That has not been something that I've aimed to do in a really long time. Wherever you are, keep drawing your outer right hip straight back. Yep. Awesome. When you're ready, you're going to push down through your feet to bring your spine back up to vertical. When you come back up, great. We'll release those arms and return back to Virabhadrasana 1. And then our fun transition will open to Warrior 2. So you'll readjust your feet. You okay? Okay. We'll readjust our feet and just take a couple of breaths here. Now, once we're in our position, we want to make sure our foot is in a position perfect for us. So sometimes that means the front heel bisects the back arch. Sometimes it means it's in front. Sometimes it means it's behind. You choose what's going to be best for your sacrum, where it feels like you are square, if it were. And then from there, we're going to open our arms out and we're going to keep our gaze forward for the time being. And just like we did at the very beginning, you're going to turn the back of your head towards your left hand. Back of your head, there we go. And then you notice that that changes what happens in your left hand. So you can still imagine that your eyeballs are looking out through the back of your left or back of your head, and you can see your left hand and you can reach out through that. On your next in-breath, we're going to reach forward through our right arm. Maybe we lower the right forearm to the top of the thigh. Maybe we come to the floor. Maybe we go to the block. But we'll go ahead and extend our left arm alongside our ears. And then you just take a couple of breath cycles there. So we're pushing down into the knife edge of our back foot. We're pushing down into the center of our right heel. We're elongating our right ribs and rolling them under. Yep. And then noticing what's happening in our shoulder and our arm as we extend over through that left arm. Fantastic. Next in-breath, return to Warrior 2. And then as you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, pivot to the ball of the back foot, and we're going to step back to plank. Haha, first one of the day. I'm so sorry for you. Now, we're going to pause here. You're going to push down through your hands a lot, lift up through your happy inner armpits, lightly hug your sit bones towards each other, outer glutes, and then on your next exhale, lift yourself up and back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. 3 breaths, and you just notice, how's the body? How's the breath? How are you? Spent a lot of time on our shoulders, and now that we're in our legs, and what do you notice? All right, let's move on. Next in-breath, sweep your left leg up and back, and then externally rotate the thigh. Maybe you stack the hip, and your best little dancer, I'm an ice skater, whee! When you're ready, you'll draw the knee to the nose, step the foot between the hands. Fantastic. Step your right foot slightly to the right, spin the foot down so the toes are pointing towards the upper right corner of your mat, and then inhale, heart reaches forward. As you exhale, reach the arms back, push down through the feet to draw your spine up for vertical. Fantastic. So now once we're in our Warrior 1, maybe you stay here. We're going to otherwise flip our palms to face forward, externally rotate the arms out and up and overhead, and take a couple of breath cycles here. So we're drawing those front ribs in. We're drawing our outer left hip back. We're really bending into our left knee. If you're happy to stay here, happy to stay here. Otherwise, turn the palms away. Draw the hands back behind you. Awkward opposite interlace. And then draw the shoulder blades together on the back body. Heart comes up, front ribs come back, and then start to hinge forward. And maybe your head comes to the inside edge of your left thigh. Maybe it comes towards your left knee. Maybe it comes towards your left ankle. Wherever we are, we're drawing our outer left hip back and in towards our inner right thigh. And we're pausing and we're breathing. Great. When you've had enough of humbled warrior, you're going to push down into your feet and then bring your spine up to vertical. Once you're vertical, you'll release the arms and extend them up and overhead. And then open to Virabhadrasana 2. And again, in Warrior 2, adjust the position. So if it feels better for you to bisect, great. If it doesn't, fantastic. For me, it changes almost every day, so that's fine. But you want to notice what feels good in your pelvis and put your legs there. And then we'll engage the outer left hip and root down into the knife edge of the right foot. From there, let's go ahead and open our arms out. And then just take a moment to pause here. Jillian, can you turn this toe just in just a little bit and then bend the knee? There. Does that feel more stable? Your leg is the same. That's fair. All right. So with our gaze coming forward, we're going to start by turning the back of our head towards our right hand. And then, as though you had eyeballs in the back of your head, which every parent has said to some child at some point in time, you're going to look out from the back of your head into your right arm. And keeping that energy from the right arm, you'll reach forward to the left, and maybe you lower the left forearm to the top of the left thigh. Maybe the hand comes to the floor of the block, and then we'll extend our right arm alongside our ears. And then once you find yourself there, find the stability. So we're pushing down to the knife edge of our right foot. We're pushing down into the center of our left heel. Find that length on your left ribs and roll them forward and up. And then notice what it feels like to really extend out through your right arm. Nice work. Next in-breath, come back up through center. And then as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Pivot to the ball of the back foot. Step your left foot back to plank pose, Balankhasana. And then you just take a couple of breaths here. Now, you have your choice. You can do one push-up, you can do no push-ups, you can do 3 push-ups. You're going to lower all the way down. And if you're doing the push-ups, you come back up and you do it again. If you're like, I'm not doing any, then you just lay on the floor and you wait for us. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Last one if you're doing it. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Fantastic. Once you're on the floor, bring an ear to the mat, extend your arms alongside your hips. And I want you to notice what it feels like to let your shoulders round on your back. So an ear to the mat, shoulders round forward. Notice your heartbeat. This is generally not a position we encourage people to stay in, but it's good to explore a full range of motion. So just notice what it feels like to really let the heart soften, the shoulder blades round. I think it's a protective place that a lot of us go to, myself included, and it feels nice at times. Bring the other ear to the mat. And again, just settle in and breathe. All right. Bring your head back to center. And then you can either stack your hands right on top of each other or stack your forearms right on top of each other, but you'll bring your head on top of your hands or your forearms. Cool. Now, we're just going to engage your legs a little bit. So let's go ahead and inhale, reach your right foot back and reach your right leg up. Hug all the muscles around that right leg. And then lower it down. And then same thing on the left side, reach it back, reach it up, squeeze all the muscles around the bones, and then bring it down. You'll do that 3 more times on each side. And you're just paying attention. Do your glutes engage? Can you feel the backs of the hamstrings? What's happening in the front of your hips? Can you keep both ASIS, so the tops of your hip bones, rooted into the floor as you lift the leg? It's like a little maybe tendu derriere, or I don't know, baby arabesque. Just pausing and breathing, noticing what's happening here. And after you've done a total of 4 sets, you'll go ahead and release. Great. This one's not going to be fun. I apologize in advance. Reach your arms forward like happy Superman and Superwoman. Check in with your shoulders. Some of you will feel good to have your palms face towards each other. Some of you will feel good to have your palms face down. You check in with your body, and see what works for you. Next in-breath, you'll reach your right leg and left arm up. And then exhale, lower down. Yep, and you'll do that on the other side. Yep, and down. And you've got 4 more sets of these. And you're just going to pause and you're going to breathe. And you're going to see if you can make this seamless. So the leg and the arm lift at the same rate. Leg and the arm, there we go, lift at the same rate. There we go, fantastic. And you'll notice that your leg can probably move a lot more than your arm really wants to. And that's okay. Awesome. So after you've done a total of 5 sets, so the one I made you do and then the 4 extra, you're going to rest. Great. I shouldn't have said rest because you're not going to do that actually. Start to reach forward through your hands. And you're going to reach so far forward that your arms start to lift up. And then maybe your head hovers a couple of inches. From here, you might want to re-engage what's happening in your abdomen and what's happening in your glutes. And then you'll reach your toes so far back that they float up. And then you'll reach your arms so far forward that maybe they float a little higher. And then maybe you'll reach your toes further back and they'll reach up. And then maybe you'll reach your arms forward and they'll float up. And then maybe you'll reach your toes back and they'll float up. And we'll breathe here for 3. And we'll breathe here for 2. And we'll breathe here for 1. And thank God we're done. We're going to lower down. And then bring an ear to the mat. And just take a moment to pause and take a moment to breathe. All right. We're not going to do that again. That's lucky you. But you are going to open your arms out to the right and the left. And then we're going to externally rotate our arms. So in this case, our palms are going to face forward like they did. And we're going to curl our fingers into the base of our hand and reach our thumb up like we're happy hitchhikers. Great. Now bring your forehead back to the mat, and you might need to hover your head a couple of millimeters from the floor, or maybe it doesn't feel weird staying there, but it's totally up to you. But you're going to start to squeeze the shoulder blades onto your back body to lift your arms. Yep. And then you're going to lower down. And you're going to do 5 of these. So you squeeze the shoulder blades on your back body to lift your arms. Yeah. Fantastic. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And your head may or may not be going anywhere. That's totally fine. And I, of course, was not counting, so we'll say this is 1 more. This time when you come up, you're going to see if you can keep squeezing your shoulder blades onto your back body. And then maybe lift and hover your head a couple of inches away from the floor. And then from there, you're like, yeah, okay, so I'm going to re-engage my abdomen, so that feels solid. And then I'm going to slightly squeeze my glutes, and then I'm going to reach back through my toes. And then maybe I'll lift my arms a little higher. Then I'll lift my legs and my toes a little higher. And then maybe I'll squeeze my shoulder blades together, and we'll breathe for 3. And then we'll breathe for 2. And we'll breathe for 1, and we'll let go. And we'll bring the... I know I did lie. I'm sorry, Roberta. Well, technically it was a variation. So maybe it wasn't the same. Okay, bring an ear to the mat. So those at home said, Roberta said I lied when I said we weren't going to do it again. And we did it again with our arms, just in a different orientation. So she's right. And of course, we're going to do it 1 more time. So this time, let's go ahead and reach our arms forward. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say forward. Arms are still out to the right and to the left. Our palms are going to face forward. Now we're going to turn our palms down. So we're internally rotating our arms. So our palms face back behind us. Now curl your fingers into the heel of your hand like those hitchhikers, and our thumbs are still pointing down. Now again, you're going to start by maybe hovering your head a couple millimeters away from the floor. And then you squeeze your shoulder blades under your back body to lift your arms. And then you come down. And you'll notice that this is a different part of the muscles on the back of our shoulder blades. And we pause and we breathe. And we're going to do a total of 5 lifting and lowering. Awesome sauce. All right. I, of course, was not counting, so we're going to pretend that's fine. Fantastic. Okay, so this is our last one. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades onto the back body, and then you'll notice, okay, maybe I need to engage my abdomen, so that feels solid. And maybe engage your happy little glutes, and then reach back through your toes, and then your toes reach back, and then your shoulders squeeze together, and then maybe your chest lifts up, and we breathe for 3, and we breathe for 2, and we breathe for 1, and fantastic, we're done. We lower down. I promise no more of those, or even variations, Roberta. And then you just take a moment to pause. And you take a moment to breathe. And you just notice what you notice. Notice what you notice. All right. Come to bring your forehead on the mat. Bring your hands alongside your ribs. Press yourself back to Balasana, child's pose. And take whatever variation feels good to you. Some of you might want your arms forward. That might feel great. Some of you might want your arms back. That might feel great. Some of you might want your heels or your little fists into your stomach, and that might feel great. So you just pause and you breathe and you notice what you notice. Awesome sauce. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly come out of this shape and you're going to make your way to your backs with your heads towards the top of your space. And now we are getting ready to cool down. So if your space is cold and you want to, by all means, start to cover your bodies. If you're like, yeah, I'm good, then you're good. Once you lay down on the back of your body, the first thing I want you to do is open your arms out to the right and to the left. And they don't have to necessarily be shoulder height. They might be lower than that, but I want you to notice what it feels like to actively draw the whole triangular bone of each scapula onto the floor. And as you really open the shoulder blades onto the floor, what do you notice happening across the front of the chest? What do you notice happening in the back of the pelvis? Does this feel different than your normal posture? If great, if it does, great. If it doesn't, great. Like just notice what you notice. Awesome sauce. Some of you may choose to stay here with your arms. It might feel great to just keep your arms here. Some of you are well, all of us are going to bend our knees and plant our feet on the floor. From here, go ahead and extend your right leg up towards the sky. And you might take some ankle circles here. You might point and flex the foot here. You might decide, hey, I want a little bit more challenge. And so you extend your left leg on the floor here. Great. Some of you might be like, yeah, I don't really like this secret core work that's happening here. So you might hold on to the back of your right leg with your strap or with your hands. But you just take a couple of breaths here and you pause and you breathe. Awesome. All right, those in movement, go ahead and come to stillness. We've got 2 more breath cycles here. So if you want to change what you're doing, by all means, do that. Great. Gently, let's bend the left leg, put the left foot on the floor, cross the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. Now again, maybe your arms stay on the floor, shoulder blades stay wide, and you do all this with the hip flexor muscles. Otherwise, you can stay here or draw the legs towards your chest in this figure 4 shape. Maybe the hands stay as they are on the floor again, or maybe you thread your hands through the holes of the legs and grab the back of your left thigh, front of your left shin. It's totally up to you, but I want you to notice the connection between your shoulders and your pelvis. You just pause and you breathe. Awesome sauce. All right, let's go ahead and gently release this. Listen carefully. Plant just the left foot on the floor. Open the arms back out into that T shape. Push down into your left foot. Lift your butt a slight bit. Slide it over to the right. Put your butt down. Now draw your legs towards the left so the right sole of the foot touches the floor. Right knee still points towards the sky. Some of you will take that left hand and push into the belly of your left thigh. If your arms feel like they're shorter than your torso, putting a block underneath your hand and using that as extra leverage helps because then you can find extra space. Otherwise, you'll just take a couple breaths here. And then notice if your head is up to the sky or if you're rotating your face over to the right. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Fantastic. Alrighty. Next in breath, let's come back up through center, arms out into that T shape. Listen very closely. Keep the cross of the ankle. Wiggle walk just your left foot to the left. Might come off of the mat depending upon your hips. And then pull your legs over to the right. So now your right ankle, Jillian, have your foot come in a little bit more closer. There we go. Julianne, like Julianne Moore. There we go. Okay. And then you just take a little pause here. Some of you will stay happily here. Some of you might reach your arms alongside your ears and grab onto your left wrist. Pull your left wrist up and maybe side bend over to your right. That's very high pitched. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. Fantastic. If you're holding onto the wrist, gently release, arms open back to the T shape. With the core muscles come back through center, release the right foot, draw the left foot back to midline, and just take a moment to pause and breathe and notice what you notice between the sides. If you want to take pelvic nutations where you rock forward and back on the sacrum to see what that feels like, by all means, do that. And then once you feel sorted with that, we'll try the other side. So first option is to just extend the left leg up towards the sky. Maybe you point and flex the foot. Maybe you circle the ankle. Again, maybe you keep that right leg bent, or perhaps you extend the leg long underneath you. And you've got a couple of breath cycles here. So at any point in time, you're like, Jessica, I would like to use my hands or a strap. By all means, use your hands or a strap. If you want to stay with the sneaky core work that's totally coming in here because I'm making your hip flexors and psoas work, by all means, stay here. But you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Those of you that are in movement, gently start to find yourself into stillness. And then again, maybe this point you adjust what you were doing to match whatever you did on the first side. So maybe hold on to the back of the leg, maybe use the strap. And just take a couple of breaths. And then as you're ready, we'll gently release. Bend the right knee, plant the right foot on the floor, cross the left ankle over the top of the left thigh. Again, maybe the arms stay out in that T shape. Maybe you use them, but you'll draw your legs towards your chest. Perhaps you stay as you are. Maybe you interlace your hands through the hole of your legs to grab the back of the right thigh, front of the right shin. And you just pause and you breathe. Notice if there's any grimacing, if you can let that go. Fantastic. Make sure that left foot is flexed. This changes the sensation on the outer left hip. There we go. And then as you're ready, gently release the right foot to the floor, arms open into a T shape. Push down into your right foot, lift your butt up, slide your butt to the left, put your butt back down, and then let the configuration of your legs fall towards your right. So now the left sole of the foot is onto the floor, left knee points up to the sky. And if you'd like, maybe you bring the right hand to the center of your left thigh and push it away. You can also hold on to your left ankle and externally rotate using the muscles of the legs. And again, you can also use a block to put the block between your, or hold the block in your hand and push it into your thigh. And you just take a couple of breaths. Maybe the head is to the sky, maybe you're looking towards your left. There we go. And you just pause and breathe. Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and inhale, come back through center. Hands come back to the T shape. Bring legs back up to vertical. Wiggle walk your right foot to the right. And then let the legs fall towards the left. Left ankle pulls the right knee over. Maybe resist that just a little bit. Fantastic. Some of you will choose to stay right here. Some of you might extend your arms alongside your ears. Maybe grab your right wrist, reach up through the right fingers, and then arc up and over towards your left. And you just pause and you breathe, and you pause and you breathe. Great. On your next in-breath, gently release. Come back through center. Uncross the legs, or the ankle rather. And then maybe you take that pelvic nutation front and back. Maybe you might feel like you want to windshield wiper the legs internally and externally, rotating them a bit. And if you do that, notice if it feels good to widen the feet a bit before you do that. There we go. Great. All right, last thing. Let's walk our feet hip distance apart. I'm going to give you the option of doing this. You can either do the standard bridge, or you can do that crazy bridge that I've been having you guys do as of late, where your feet are touching, your knees open, and then you lift your hips and draw the legs together. You choose whichever one is going to work for you, but our arms are going to stay a slightly bit wider than our hips. Our palms are going to face up. So we're really paying attention to that external rotation of the clavicle, or of the scapula and the opening of the clavicles. And so you do this a couple of times. So maybe you're taking the standard bridge. Maybe you're taking that weird one where your feet start open, or your knees start open. You push through your feet, you lift your hips, and then you slowly drag your legs together. Cool. Awesome. So Julianne, soles of the feet stay together. You open your knees, then you lift your hips, then you drag your legs together. And it should get the backs of your glutes. You can't get as high as a normal bridge, but it's getting the backs of the legs. So feet stay here, lift hips. Now draw your legs together, slow, 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 slow. Now lower your butt down. Great. Open legs. There you go. And do it again. It's a different sensation. You don't get as high, but it definitely gives you stability on the backs of the legs. I don't know if you run or not, but if you ever do, it's a good exercise for that. I sound like an old person now. That's hilarious. I'm so sorry. All right, so after you've done 3 or 4 of those, you might hold the last one. And the focus for today is really just to pay attention to what's happening in your shoulder blade. So you're pushing the upper arms down. You're feeling the broadness of the collarbone, and you're just breathing. And then when you're done, you're going to lower your butt back down. And you'll take a couple of breaths to settle into whatever other shapes feel like your body might need. So some of you might want Supta Baddha Konasana. That might feel so amazing after all the stuff we've done. Some of you might want to do a happy baby. Some of you might want to do a halasana. You just check in with what your body feels like it's needing, and you do that. I don't care what I just said. You just do whatever your body feels like it needs. And then once you feel like you are set and complete, you will make your way to your final resting pose. And because we spent so much time with really trying to pay attention to our shoulder joints, I want you to set yourself up for Shavasana where your arms are not touching your body today, but instead they're open. The palms are facing up. The shoulder blades are onto the back of the body. And you might notice that you might need to widen your legs a little bit further apart. If you ever notice that your back body feels like a little bit tight, maybe you roll a blanket and put it underneath your knees. If you're feeling like your torso wants a little bit of grounding or your being wants a little bit of grounding, go ahead and maybe put a blanket on your pelvis. And then wherever you are, just take a couple of breaths in through the nose and an audible breath out through the mouth. And you'll just do that over 3 times. And then after you've taken your 3 breaths, just to notice where the breath is most alive for you. And by breath, I probably could have said prana. Where is the energy of the body, the life force, your vitality? Where is it most alive for you? Wherever it happens to be, can you just allow your awareness to rest and not spot? Whenever you notice the mind starts to wander, no worries. Simply notice that and bring your awareness back to your prana, back to your breath, back to your life force. I'll go ahead and leave you here with your breath for the next few moments, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. Notice if there's any part of you longing to linger in this shape. And if there is, by all means, please stay here. When movement or life or breath do call you, allow it to re-enter into the body. And by it, I mean movement or breath, or gently, calmly. If you're in stillness, by all means, stay in stillness. If you're in movement, you might start to stretch and wiggle and yawn in any way that feels good to you. Those in movement, you'll start to make your way to your right side and you'll pause for a couple of breath cycles there. After you've taken a few cycles of breath on your right side, you'll use your hands and press yourself to a tall seat. When you are vertical, I do encourage you to sit on something, whether it's a block or a blanket, pillow, anything that allows your spine to be long. And then either keeping the gaze soft or the eyes closed, we'll start or end where we started. So if you need to fidget around, go ahead and fidget around. But ultimately, find a place where your arms can rest, your hands can rest, your heart can remain open. Today, I'm reminded of this idea that I think the reason that silence is important, meaning sometimes our thoughts can run away with us. We have to tell ourselves, just settle down a little bit. Sometimes we're overstimulated by tasks or by the outside world or you name it. But I think that the reason that silence, taking time to slow down and tune in, is important is because it gives us the capacity um, to notice the second arrow, as Thich Nhat Hanh might call it, the suffering, as Pema Chodron might call it, that comes to just being human. There's something that always happens to us. But a lot of times that suffering isn't as bad as the initial pain. So something happens, but it's most often the stories that we tell ourselves about it that make it more painful and make the suffering more intense. But when we're silent, when we slow down, not only can we honor the original hurt without adding to it, but the gift is we can start to recognize that we're not alone in it. Any challenge that we experience in life, there's always somebody else that's also experiencing it. And the meditation that Pema Chodron offers to this is like whatever thing is bothering you, may you wish ease for other people that are also experiencing that. So if you have a pain in your body, for instance, you could say, may all those that are experiencing X feel some relief, feel some support, feel some strength. And very often I found that for myself, when I can become quiet enough to realize that this is just part of the human experience and I'm not alone in it, it allows me to open up, the heart to open versus closing down. So as you're here with these last few moments and last few breaths, I invite you to notice that thing that occasionally causes you angst or worry or stress or pain or you name it. And can you silently send a prayer to those other people that might be experiencing the same thing? After you've sent your prayer, gently draw your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of your thumbs into your sternum and then lift your sternum into your thumbs. Gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in through the nose. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May our thoughts be clear. Draw your thumbs to your lips. May our words be kind. And draw your thumbs to your heart center. May our hearts be open. The light, the breath, that awareness within me honors and salutes the light, the breath, the awareness within each of you. Namaste.